How to make sure your message gets heard. Hi friends, and welcome to From Amateur to Expert, where we talk about work, wealth, and how you can position yourself as a top name in your field. Over the next few videos, let's discuss the issue of how you can make your messages come alive and remain memorable. There are certain, shall we say, mechanical things that experts do differently that make them that much more effective. Let's start at the beginning with the most important one. How do you introduce your topic? I find that it is a rare skill to be able to get to the point quickly. Let's look at that in three different areas. The world of writing, the world of broadcasting, or perhaps YouTube videos, and the world of public speaking. Starting with the writing world, I recently released a little audio guide that covers how you can write and publish your own non-fiction book. And I go into a little detail in one of the chapters about discussions I've had with publishers and how they emphasize the incredible importance of getting to the point quickly. So here's a simple example. Say, for instance, that the first page of your book talks about who you are and why you are qualified to say what you're about to say. It's the first page, maybe a page and a half, and bingo, you're already out and your book is not going to get published. Here's why. The publishers explain that under great pressure, they will flip through the manuscripts that they've received that day, and they will have to dismiss something like 30 manuscripts a day. Their first test in terms of author credibility is, can you get to the point quickly? Generally speaking, the best books, the ones that make it through the first round of acceptance, have the promise to the reader, the core idea that the book is going to cover in the first paragraph and sometimes in the first sentence. The credibility of the author is secondary and can either be discussed as the book progresses or can simply appear on the back blurb. It's not something that you have to do within the body text. The first paragraph is about saying, here's what you get out of this book, and setting up the promise, the core, the central premise, the idea of that manuscript. Now let's go to the world of, say, broadcasting, or perhaps more recently, YouTube videos. To understand what works in this industry, start by going to your favorite TV show, something that gives you how-to information, even a cooking show. You will never find the chef spending the first couple of minutes talking about who he is or who she is and why they are qualified to give this information. Generally speaking, the first line will go something like, how do you cook a perfect X every time? And it's straight in from there. And we presume the credibility of the presenter based on the platform. If they're giving contentious or controversial information, we might then afterwards go and find out who is this person and why are they qualified to do that. But it very rarely appears within the body text. Most you'll ever find is something like a little byline at the bottom that might say this person is the author of, or has this doctorate in, or whatever the case might be. But the presenter doesn't deliver it. They go straight to the value, they go straight to the interesting idea or the promise in terms of what you get out as the viewer. Final example of this one, a good speech delivered in public. How many terrible presentations have you sat through in your life? The best ones generally do something very simple. They ask the question, what can the audience get out of it, and answer that question in the first sentence or the first few sentences. It's the difference between a long waffling, welcome, hello everyone, gosh, doesn't everyone look lovely today, isn't the weather fantastic, versus a question like, how can you innovate in profitable ways? That can be an opening line, and it's a pretty good opening line. So it's about getting to the point quickly. Very few audiences, whether they are consuming over television, over YouTube, in text form, or live in an auditorium, are going to tolerate a lot of build-up and waffle. Give the promise right up front. If you need to then justify who you are, do it afterwards as part of the body text or part of the delivery. But it is not the first thing that you do. Start with a promise and then begin to deliver. That's how you get to the point quickly. It's how you make sure that a publisher reads your manuscript. It's how you make sure that your videos are watched. If you're interested in the possibility of writing and publishing your own book, please take a look at my Audible guide called The Complete Tiny Little Guide to Becoming an Author, in which I guide you through the process of constructing and writing your book and give you some tips and insights in terms of how to make it compelling for a publisher.